show. So without further ado, I want to bring up my guy, Mr. Apollo Reed.
You're
Yo, what it do?
What's
What it
going on,
do?
my guy? What's going on?
Chilling, bro. How's the day?
It's still going, apparently. You know what I'm saying? But it's good, man. That's gotta when duty calls, you gotta step up, man.
Yeah, it's funny because for those that don't know, like Apollo's job is not like sit down at a desk for 8 hours, chill, relax. Like this dude's grinding, So every day I'm like, ooh, all right, it's 7:30. I think we're in the clear. I don't think I'm gonna get the text that he can't join tonight, but it's always a possibility. It's always a possibility that, I might get a 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, like, yo, bro, I just can't, So I always gotta have like the Keanu Reeves replacement players in the background just in case I got to call them up to the big leagues. So I got my like Westchester Knicks version of content creators in my database just in case.
Oh, that's hilarious.
No, it is, bro.
Yes, sir. So, all right. So we're breaking down the Orlando Magic game. All right. And, we're talking about who shined that game. And I was just kind of talking about how this was, for me, the game that said, okay, OG's ready to compete. Like he's done well since he's been back. But it's been like, oh, yeah, it's good to see OG back. But that game was like, okay, OG is back. Like I said, 24 points, 1 block, 3 steals, 4 assists, and 6 boards. Like every single category OG was putting on. And so I was excited to see that. Then Cat had a really good game, honestly, too. 29 points, 8 boards, 2 assists, 1 steal, and a block. But at the end of the day, this was Jalen Brunson's moment.
Yeah.
Like it just was. This was, I don't remember who it was. Dang. I wish I remembered, but I saw a tweet that day. It might have been Papa Left. And I don't even like I don't even know I said that. I don't like calling him Papa Left. Like I don't want to call any man Papa. So I call him Lefty. But it was either him or someone from the KOT team. They said tonight is gonna be a 40-point Brunson piece. And all of a sudden, Jalen Brunson had 40 points, 8 assists. Like sometimes in the old Tibbs system, you see a 40-point Brunson game, it's probably coming with 2 assists, maybe 3, but
Yeah.
still 8 assists and a steal. So what was your thoughts on that Orlando Magic game, Apollo, now that you're here?
I mean, like you said, like everybody, OG was really. It was good to see OG step up. It was really important for us to have him back and comfortable. And like I said the other day, it was good to see him, get. I guess he definitely wanted to come back for the Orlando game at first, and then having to see them on Saturday. He definitely stepped up more than a lot of people give him credit for, and have given him credit. Hopefully, he starts to get some All-Star looks now. But he definitely was balling. But like you said, that Jalen Brunson was just on the heater all night, bro. It's hard to not root for that guy when he's on the heater like that. And everybody else was still clicking, like you said. It wasn't just Jalen Brunson. Everybody else got their piece in too. So it was a good all around game. Everybody contributed, and I like this. The system is starting to come into place. I know you have your quarrels with the system, Phil, a little bit, but you know what I'm saying, it's doing okay right now. It's doing okay.
Yeah, I think this is my homegirl, Miss Nix, but she said flu game. Yeah, that was, overcoming the flu, and he killed it. Nick Yak said we had 70 points in the paint. Like this is a different kind of Knicks team. Like on any night we can light them up from 3, or we can light them up in the paint. And so I love that. I love that we are not so one dimensional anymore as an offense. Like we really, really were. Like if you go back and watch games from last season, like man, it's hard to watch. Like
Yeah.
sometimes even now you're like, why is the offense stagnant? But you see that because you feel like it's stagnant compared to what it's been. But even that is like ball movement compared to last year.
Yeah.
So it was really cool to see that. While I'm smoking out here,
Last year, Jalen Brunson had to work so hard for his shots. Like
Yep.
you could just see, I was like, this is not good. By the way, Brunson cooks Orlando. His last 4 games against Orlando, he's dropped 30 or better on him. And also that game was the game that we saw that nasty ankle breaker where Brunson dropped Anthony Black. That was dirty. Oh
Yeah,
man, that was
that was crazy.
That was
So
bad.
so living in Florida, I think my algorithm gives me a lot more Orlando Magic complaints than most people's algorithm. But there were so many people complaining like, "Oh, look at that foul." Da, da, da. I'm like, "Yo, just stop." You know, barely a push off. Like in this NBA, you can call that a push off, but let's be real, that's not a push off. You know, like if Bill Russell, I mean, um if Russell didn't get the call from Jordan on his push off in the 90s, you know, when it was a lot more blatant, then I don't think anyone should be complaining about something like that. Thotty, he said, "Ugh, I hate y'all winning." Let me know what team you support, Thotty. Um, you know, I'm
That's
gonna
that's that's
support
my
you.
that's my guy. I've known him since like middle school. Actually, he just
Ah,
hates New York teams, so he comes to hate. So he's gonna he's, he's gonna have a
who's
lot of
his
fun
squad?
tonight. He doesn't have a squad.
Oh,
That's what makes it annoying because it's like you can't say
you know
anything
that
different.
that's crazy. That's like someone who ain't got no job, like, and you're hanging out with them, and they want to like talk bad about everybody's job. Like, oh, this is what you do. Like, oh, you a janitor? Oh, you a photographer? Real cool. You know, like you make how much a year? And you're like, bro, you've been unemployed since the day you were born. Like, what are you
Right?
talking about? All
What are
right,
you
so I
talking
see
about?
you now, Thotty.
He
Shout
likes
out
Jalen. He likes Jalen Brunson though. He's a Jalen Brunson fan. So
my guy Lee
I let him rock. I
Escobedo's in
let
the
him rock.
building, one of my favorites in the game. Appreciate you
Lee's
so much.
good.
If you guys haven't followed Lee, you got to follow Lee. He's been killing it on the Substacks. Great articles like nonstop.
He
Um,
had a piece on Bleacher today too. A nice piece on
yep,
Bleacher.
Hmm.
yep. He's been killing the
My
writing
man
game
Lee.
as well as the obvious, you know, post games and everything like that. But let's continue talking about that Orlando game. Um, because that was kind of a statement game for us, you know, because that team has been the team that um, has been back and forth in what people think they're going to be, you know, like in the offseason when they got the Bane, uh, you know, acquisition, people were like, "Oh, this is going to be, you know, the other top, you know, team in the East." And then they started off really slow. Didn't look great, you know? And people were like, "Ah, no, nah, they're just a bust. Like it's not working out." And then all of a sudden it started working out, you know? Like
Mhm.
Bane was on point with them and everything was going smooth. Jalen Suggs having the best defensive year of his career. Franz was absolutely incredible holding it down while Bankero was injured. So it's become kind of an important, you know, thing for us to compete against these guys. But I loved what I saw, not just on the offensive end, but also on the defensive end from our guys. Like Bane being limited to 18 points is huge. Like that is the kind of guy that just in one quarter he can get 18 and threes, you know,
Yeah.
if he starts lighting up and you don't defend him right. Um, Jonathan Isaac usually comes in off the bench and punishes teams.
Yep.
Mitchell Robinson, like whoever was guarding him all those minutes, you know, I think Mitch was some was OG, some was even McHale. Jonathan Isaac was limited to 5 points. They actually didn't even play him a ton because he just wasn't being effective.
Mhm.
Limited on the boards, limited on everything like that. So we were talking about our thoughts during the game, Apollo. So, what was your thoughts watching this Orlando Knicks game?
I mean, it was. It's always going to be a game with these guys because they just they try to be aggressive with us, like super aggressive. But I think these guys really, especially the guys off the bench, like shout out to Cole, like he's really been on a heater too. Um, we've had a lot of con- contribution from the bench, a lot more than we've had, in the past. So, they're starting to feed off of that, and guys are starting to really play off of it. Cat got more aggressive than he normally has with Orlando, and that's what I've been looking for him. Like, because I kind of feel like what's the guy's name? I mentioned him last night, Wendell Carter Jr.
Yep.
He comes in and he tries to punk Cat. Like he has
Yeah.
that attitude all the time.
Yep.
Every single time he plays against Cat, and Cat took it right to him that game, the whole game, and I loved it. You know what I mean? That's what we need you to do. If you could play like that, there's no weakness. People don't know where to attack us at. So,
Yeah.
I think that's that was one of the main things that stood out to me because it usually boils down to Cat really makes us unstoppable when he's playing like that. When he's playing aggressive, when he can score on the outside, he can still get to the paint. He really makes us really unstoppable because then you can swing the ball around and make things happen for Jalen, and even Josh is starting to shoot now. So, watching the game, I was, of course there was some things that happen now every now and then that was kind of frustrating, but I was pretty confident watching this team versus Orlando, and that didn't really happen much in the first couple games versus them.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree completely. I want to give a shout out to those that have joined the chat recently. Carbon Intellect, appreciate you so much. DJ Space Ghost, appreciate you guys so much. If you guys can, hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't yet. Retweet this on X or whatever it's called. Repost it on Instagram. We've been seeing growth in the channel, but we really, really want to continue to push this. We wanted to see it get past 10K by the new year. And we're almost there. We're going to do a little campaign soon, I believe. I'm waiting to hear back from my guy Fritz and Jay if it's happening. But we really want to get this past 10K and continue to build on it. I believe not just in our squad here, but the whole squad. Every single person on this squad, I'm very thankful for. From B to Ebony to Jay to Lee to Fritz to Ryan, like every single person is seriously a blessing to collaborate with. So we definitely want to grow this thing. But one thing I want to say in support of Lee is him and Ebony have a never trade Mitch campaign that they've had for most of the season. And it's hard because when you see some of these games by Mitchell Robinson, it's crazy. Like, the only thing is, like, if we were now seeing him play 28 minutes, like 30 minutes a game, it'd be a no-brainer to get that extension, like no-brainer. Like that extension should have been signed in like honey so that it was sweet every time he thought about it. Like, I don't really care. Do what you got to do. The hard thing is not knowing when that, 15 to 17 minutes will actually be able to be more than that. But if you look at that game alone, they had 3 blocks as a team. Mitchell Robinson had 4 blocks by himself. Like, that's just insane. Like, a guy that can come in for like 17 minutes and get 4 blocks, like, that is such an underrated stat. And that's the actual, like, basketballs that he touched with his hand, not the ones that he deterred, not the fear of God that he put into so many of those players trying to come into the paint and then either dishing it out or missing the shot. Like, that's just the ones that he made contact with. That's crazy. Yeah. So shout out to Mitchell Robinson on that. But like, one thing I will say is the thing I'm kind of disappointed with right now is that come playoff time, because I don't think we play the Magic again. So come playoff time, if we play them, it'll actually be the first time that we see the Orlando Magic with Franz and Banchero. Like, we have not seen them with their number 1 and their number 2 thus far this season. So it's not like we can watch tape on, how we did against them. We can watch tape on their individual games, but that doesn't say how we responded, to those players. So what are your guys' thoughts? Like, for me, it's weird because in the cup, I feel like they would have had a better chance if Banchero was the one out as opposed to Franz, because they look like a smoother offensive team under Franz running the point, as opposed to when Banchero was there. So what are your guys' thoughts on that? I'll go with you first, Al.
So yeah, they were playing really well with Banchero out. They started the year off slow and they had both of their stars, and then they actually started playing a lot better once Banchero went out, which was so weird. But then now that Franz went out, Banchero had just come off of injury, right? So I don't want to say like they played better without Franz or without Banchero. Banchero came back. He had just been off of injury, so he was probably still a little rusty, working on his timing and all that stuff. So of course they played better with Franz, and they didn't play as good with Paolo in that instance. That's how I took it. And I saw that coming. I was like, what was it? His second game back, third game back? Like, he had just come back. You're muted.
But I'm not even just saying against us. Like, just watching how seamless it looked for that offense to get in rhythm with Franz and Jalen, Suggs. Like, it was kind of crazy to watch. So I think that Banchero's a great player, but I don't know necessarily how he fits the rest of the roster. To me, it's similar to Randall with us, like once we had different players like Brunson and, stuff like that, and we kind of moved in different direction. I don't necessarily think it flowed as well. Like you look at Randall now, it seems a lot more easy for him, out in Minnesota. Like it seems that that roster works better for him and his game. So I'm not sure, but Nick Zanish said it, same thing happened last season. Orlando played great without Paolo. So that's never a comforting feeling from your like number one, guy is that your team plays really, really well without you.
Yeah, that's
What are your
crazy.
thoughts, Apollo?
So I mean, so first regarding the Mitch thing, I do want to say that it's the minutes thing is not. I don't think that's on him. I do think that's by coaching staff. I think that's their plan for Mitch. I don't think he's like, yo, I only could play 16, 17 minutes a game. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I'm sure he can play more minutes if need be. But at this point, I think what they're trying to do is have him get consistent games in as much as possible and then ramp up the minutes later, which I'm fine with. At this point, it doesn't seem like we need him to play much more minutes at this point, right this second. So I think we're at a comfortable point. I'm sure he would like to play more minutes, for himself. He would like to play more minutes, but like I said, I don't think it's on him. So in terms of that extension, I don't think that's fair for him to not get the extension if they are telling him not to play so many minutes. And that's the only reason why I'm looking at it like that, is because that wouldn't be fair to me. If I'm a player and I'm saying, I can play more minutes than you guys are giving me, but then you're going to base how much you're going to pay me off the minutes that you're giving me. That's not fair to me.
And
So,
I agree with that. The only thing I'd say is, I'm trying to remember who it was, but we had a whole conversation. Something had come out that Mike Brown was also taking advice and word from Mitchell Robinson's agent on how many minutes he could be playing in this time. I'll try to find the article, but apparently it wasn't just coming from the front office.
okay.
So I'll look for that. But what do you think about
But yeah,
that how we fared against the Orlando Magic in that game?
so I think like you said, at some point we're gonna have to play them at full strength if we see them in the playoffs. If it comes down to that. But I also believe even when they were playing us earlier in the season, we didn't really know our identity. Especially the first couple games, we were still figuring things out. Cat was really not understanding what he was supposed to do yet in the system. They didn't alter the system yet to these guys yet. So I think we've been playing better against them as of late because things have changed and they're getting more comfortable with what they're supposed to be doing. So I think, as it's, even though that we haven't seen them at full strength yet this year, I don't think they've seen us at full strength. Technically, I think almost every game we played against them, somebody was out or something like that. So, including, I think Deuce didn't play the last two games, or he got hurt during the last one. No, he got hurt during the one earlier, and then he missed the last game. But, like I said, I think that playing them at full strength is going to be a challenge, of course. But when you combine Paolo and Franz, like I said, when the minutes when Franz is on the floor without Paolo, like you said, they just play a little bit better. It's kind of different brand. Paolo's a little bit slower as well. You know what I mean? He doesn't hit the pace with him. It's harder to I guess it's harder for him to keep up with the pace. I think that's what I've been noticing with them, because they're playing a lot faster than he can really run with them a lot of times. He's not even the first or second guy back. So, I don't know. Even the last game we played against him, I think he might have been a little bit hobbled, but still, he just looked noticeably slower than a lot of those guys.
Yeah.
But I think that adds to why they just flow better when he's not on the floor, because you don't have to deal with the speed of or the lack thereof of of Paolo, because a lot of times, as talented as he is in a half court, sometimes you need to move the ball and move up and down the court a little bit faster than that, and I think that's where they struggle with him.
Yeah, I agree. Before we go to the next topic, Jay Ellis just said, correct, Phil. His agent also wanted a minutes restriction. And so I was just looking at a New York Post article where Mike Brown was talking about him. And he said that VP of Sports Medicine, Casey Smith, alongside of Mitch and his doctors. Mitch and his agent are the ones that are determining the minutes restriction. So whatever they tell me, I'm just
Okay.
recycling what I'm told. So
I take it back. I take it back. I take it back.
no, but it does make sense. It is
Yeah.
Right.
also an investment, a business decision. Like
Mhm.
you haven't gotten your contract for your guy, like that extension's not there yet.
Mhm.
The possibility of a re-injury, so you're not gonna put him out there to play that many minutes without a contract extension because if he gets injured, his value to get
Yeah.
traded or to go somewhere else in the offseason is very very limited if he's going
Right.
to like start with a new team unable to play. So
Mhm.
it makes sense, and this is not a stab at Mitch as a basketball player at all.
Right. Yeah.
like
Right.
like when you look at stats per minute, like it's astronomical what this guy can do,
Mhm.
but what I'm saying is the limitation is his limited availability minute wise. But we'll see. So let's go into our first pour first. Unfortunately, Al, you'll get one of these the next time I see you.
Oh, crap.
um but
Two
this is a
seconds.
brand
Two
right
seconds.
here. Yeah, you need a minute.
Just a second, because I grabbed the other one, and my
Oh, we
bad.
going all three. We going all
Okay.
three, brother.
Bet. Bet. That's a bet. Got you.
We got the weeded, and then the cigar blend, and then Ryconic. And while we wait for you, I'm gonna bring up my homegirl, Miss Nix, because I know she got something to say about this Orlando Magic game and us stacking up against them and all that stuff. So, without further ado, I'm gonna bring up one of the best female voices in the game. And I don't say that like, oh, she's a female, so her voice is down. Like, no, she can hold her own with any of y'all. Like, some of y'all need to disable your Twitter and stop talking, but she can continue. So, without further ado, this is my homegirl, Miss Nix.
Hey y'all,
What up?
what's up? Give me 1 second. Let me turn the camera the other way.
Yeah.
So my bad, cause I'm in the car. I,
You
I
good?
have to help. I have to help my friend move, so I'm waiting for her now. But I was like, let me jump on and show some love. Um,
Appreciate you.
so y'all were talking about Orlando, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So to me, the Orlando game was super important. I think they have been a pest to us for the last couple of seasons.
Yep.
And it was time to show and prove for the Knicks, and I think that's exactly what we did. I think this Knicks team, and I'm not just saying it because I'm a Knicks fan, but I think this Knicks team is very dangerous when we play Knicks brand of basketball. I think no team stands a chance with us when we play Knicks basketball and everyone is committed. And the reason I say that is because any given night, anybody can go off,
Yep.
right? Like Orlando's game was JB's game, but JB doesn't do it alone.
Yep.
JB
Facts.
doesn't do it alone. I think Al said it earlier. Last season it was JB had to be JB out of desperation. We had no other options.
Yep.
This year we have options, and the options are even far and beyond our starting five lineup. And I think this is what I love to see. As a Knicks fan, it's a great problem to see. You know what I mean? Like seeing, our starters, eat, um, seeing our bench guys eat. Um, think it was said earlier, like Cat has been playing great, and Cat is an important piece. I think even to go even further, because I've said it on Knicks and Ish, to me, Cat is the piece. You know what I mean? JB is our best player, but Cat is absolutely our most important player because you run the offense through Cat. It opens up everybody else, and the offense flows so much smoother. Um, and yeah, no, I was super excited. I love the physicality of the Orlando game. It absolutely felt like a playoff game. And just you know, for us fans to see what the Knicks would do in certain situations. Um, and not even we didn't even get to fully see it because we're only 25 games in. This is not a team that has played a full season as is with the new system yet. So this is just the beginning, and I think, as Knicks fans, we just need to appreciate the baby steps.
Yeah, I love that. What's great about that Orlando game, like you said, the physicality, but also one of our fan base's biggest hangups right now was, is this team too small? Like at the end of the day, like especially when you start going down into the bench, like the lack of height. When you look at, the fact that some of these other teams are way bigger than we are, like
Yep.
how are we going to fare in the physicality? And honestly, that game for me was Karl Anthony Towns saying, I know I need to show that I belong here. Because too many times his physicality turns into sloppy basketball, turns into, foul trouble, turns into lack of efficiency when a guy starts to like body him up. And he showed that he can contest. Like he showed that he can put in work against these other teams that have made him look lesser than early in the season. So I was thankful for Cat's game that game, because I felt like he rose to the occasion, which is something we all needed to see. In light of all the trade rumors and everything like that, I think that's something he needed to see, as well, was seeing how he fares, when he's able to play at his best. And I want to play this real quick Twitter clip because you brought something up that I really, love. You were talking about the system. And I know there's some people in here that are even my people that are like, yo, there is no system. There is no system. And I'm like, yes, there is. Like, there's a clear difference between this New York Knicks team under Mike Brown as opposed to the New York Knicks team under Tom Thibodeau. And I know I could say it till I'm blue in the face. I'm just a 41-year-old, like, old head Knicks content creator. What do I know, right? But when you have the actual players saying that it's different, you got to start listening. Like you have to start listening because players speaking up is kind of what got Tom Thibodeau out of here. So you got to start listening to the players. So I'm gonna play this little clip right here from Josh Hart when
the playing style of this year and last year were totally different. So now, this year, I can be a little bit more aggressive.
So you have Josh Hart talking about, how he's being effective now being back in the starting lineup. And what does he have to accredit it to? The way that the game's being played is different. The system is, he didn't just say it's a little different. He said it's completely different. So I can play aggressive. What NBA star wants to play and not feel like they can be aggressive? Like, because a coach doesn't want that aggression or them to play out of whatever role he thought they were going to be. Like, you have Josh Hart pretty much saying it's completely different and I can play like myself. Like, I can play like the player I'm supposed to be. And Josh has been ridiculous since joining the starting lineup this season back under this new Mike Brown system. So I love it. I love it.
Isn't it crazy? Last year, that starting five was like the worst starting five in the NBA. And now this year, that starting five is so good. It's insane, the 180 that they've done.
Yeah.
And not
It's
only
night
the
and day.
system, yeah, not only the system, but the adjustments from the coaching staff. I think me and you talked about it, Phil, where I said
I think we lost her. As we wait for her to come back, shout out to my guy State. Appreciate you being in the building. One of my
State?
guys. It is open panel all night. If you have something to say, people, feel free to click the link below. Appreciate all of you guys being in the building.
One thing on that Orlando game is we didn't mention. Well, we were talking about Cat. Cat won the defensive player of the game that game. I put a picture in the chat of him with the Timbs.
Mm-hmm.
So that was good to see.
And honestly, like, shout out to Kareem Grant. Didn't even see you come in, bro. Appreciate you. And that's a big thing, is like, that was the thing that was going to limit Cat. That's one of the things that's like, you can't be good offensively if you're not on the court because you were so bad defensively that you had 3 fouls in the first quarter. So to go up against such an aggressive team and then win, like
Mhm.
your actual like first boots. And I know some people think it's corny. I don't really care
I
if people
love
think
it.
it's
I
corny.
love it.
I think it's I think it's incentive. And if it
Yep.
brings the team together and like has
Yep.
camaraderie, I don't really care how cheesy you think it is. Like if it's working for the team, it's working. And you
Yep.
see the joy in these photos.
It's funny
Yep.
because we were saying the same thing last year when the Cavaliers had that little chain thing that they were doing. There's a lot of people that were out there saying that was corny too, and I'm like, yo, listen, if it works for them, if it makes them work for something, each
Yeah.
guy work towards something each game. And first of all, Mike Brown, for you to make it the defensive player of the game and not just the player of the
Facts.
game
Yep.
is brilliant. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Because it
Brilliant
forces
word.
everybody to have a goal of trying to get. Listen, I'm getting them Tims tonight. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So I
Yep.
love it. I love that. I love that idea, man. It's
So
really really smart.
one thing I love about Mike Brown, and we're gonna have a little segment giving him props later. But one thing I do love is that little thing alone shows that camaraderie and like being more than just the guy you listen to is important to him.
Thanks.
Like, yes, he wants to be the coach and all that stuff, but he's not going to be so buddy with you that you're like, oh, that's my friend. But he's
Right.
also going to be an encouragement. Like you hear how he talks about Jalen Brunson. Like, hey, I'm glad he got the cup, but whether or not they gave it to him or not, like he should be in MVP conversations regardless in the
Mhm.
cup or in the season. Like he says the right things. And I don't think it's because he's politician style, NBA coach. Like I think that's really who he is, and he's finding like his acceptance in New York, and he's watching something go from night to day, in the offensive, like way that this team plays, even defensively. Like you said, same roster, yet you look at, the ratings, it's completely different, like from the starting lineup. So I'm gonna bring Miss Nix back up, let her finish her take, and then I got my guy Nabil chilling in the background, and he's gonna come on up too. So let's get Miss Nix back up here.
My
What up? What
bad,
up?
y'all.
Oh, you
my
good?
my daughter is flying to Chicago, so she was calling me to let me know she landed safely.
Nah, you good?
Okay, good.
But what I was saying, I think we were having a conversation where I said I absolutely hated the offense. I
Yeah.
hated that we were, just breaking down the defense and popping out the three. We had we didn't have a plan B to when our shots didn't fall through. And I love the fact that Mike Brown said, I had a conversation with the players and the coaches, and they put their input in, and I adjusted. And you saw that was like automatic change in what we saw going on the court, right? Because now we're taking more inside shots. We're using our strengths to our advantage to win basketball games. And I think at that point, at that change is when we started seeing belt to ass for real with this team. So I absolutely, not only a different system, but a different mindset with the coaching staff. And, adjustments. Tibbs, for all that he was great at, was terrible at adjusting.
Yeah.
Yep.
Terrible.
Yeah. You got to think about.
He almost resented it.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're going to talk about some of the adjustments from last night's game because that was crazy. But what's crazy is Jalen Brunson, like still in the conversation for MVP. Okay. In the season so far. But people that weren't like diehard Knicks fans or not willing to like be realistic as Knicks fans, didn't like how everybody else was like, well, of course you're going to be in conversations like that when you have the ball for 20 seconds out of every 24, second shot clock. Like you have the ball all the time. Of course, your numbers are going to be great, but the amount of time that the ball is in his hand this year is significantly less. His assists are up. The way that he's working with, the team is so much better, and yet his game is looking better. Like, it's just crazy to me how when you allow, like people were like, oh, yeah, but they brought JB here to be that guy. That's why Tibbs is doing that. Well, yeah, JB is still that guy. But guess what? Now everybody else wants to fight just as hard as he does to win because it's not just JB and the Pips. It's like a whole squad, and so they're all building. I said this last season, I'll say it again. Like when you think of things like how many, people in this right here can say that they know any of the, names of the guys from Jagged Edge? Anybody? Anybody know anybody's first name in Jagged Edge? No, but Jagged Edge, and they took over the charts for years.
Yeah.
There's not a single person that wasn't meet me at the altar in your light. Not a single person. However,
My wife could probably name him because she really loved it, but I
all
know
right, well,
nobody else
find out
could.
and we'll talk about it next week because I definitely want to know because she would be like the Jagged Edge fan of all fans.
It's probably would be.
But then there's other groups where you're like B2K. Oh yeah, there was Omarion, Marquess Houston, and then the other guys. They're just the backups. You don't care who they are. That's what it was before in a Tibbs system. It's this and the other guys. Now we're starting to look like Jagged Edge, and I'm ready to meet them. Let's meet at the altar. Let's do this. Bring up Run DMC and let's start. Just walking this way. Whatever we got to do. But anyway, so all right. So Miss Knicks, I know you're helping friend move. What are your thoughts on the NBA Cup? I'll end with that from you before we bring up Nabil.
As in how we played, or
no, just the cup in general.
To be honest, I think I wasn't really a fan of the cup too much, but I understand why the NBA has done it. I think, teams doing excessive resting of their players early on in the season kind of forced this. I think teams not being really super competitive also forced this. So I think the NBA had to do something to, have their ratings up early on in the season. And so now we have the NBA Cup. I think not only were the Knicks games really good, I think all the games have been really good. The Spurs and OKC game was super good. I mean,
Crazy.
It's good for the game. And so it's kind of grown on me.
I love it. Well, I appreciate you. I know you're doing the move thing, but as different topics come up, you can hop up whenever you want, girl.
Absolutely. Y'all have a good night and back to business tomorrow. Let's go Knicks.
Let's
yes,
go.
sir. Have a good night. Appreciate you.
You too.
All
right. So before we bring up Nabil, let's get that first pour. All right. This right
you
here.
You said we're doing 3?
Yeah.
I only got 2 of these. Just letting you know.
They sent 2 small samples.
Oh, the Kings. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I
one of
brought
them
those in
cigar
here just to be
blend.
sure. Okay. Got you.
But we'll do this one first. You got time.
No, it's here.
Right.
I got it.
So this is the weeded bourbon, but it's toasted. And I love toasted bourbon. For those of y'all who don't know what toasted bourbon is, they char the inside of the wood for extra aging. And it brings out all sorts of cool notes that, you don't have. So in whiskey, there's, there's bourbon, rye, but then you can get weeded. And so this one's a weeded. It's 112.8 proof. And I actually didn't crack this one open yet because I wanted to do it on the show. Ooh, I love that sound. That cork pop was beautiful. Anyway, so we're going to pour a little sample of this and get right into it. But this is a family
Nice
called
color.
the Kings family. And they actually are a distillery. Well, they are distillers. Their distillery is in the Great Smoky Mountains, but they actually don't make their own. They're, one of the brands that they get from different places. They can do blends and stuff like that. But their bottles are incredible. Me and my family went out there probably 8 months ago and hung out with them, and they were incredible. They did some stuff with us last season. Kara, which is their husband and wife team. She was supposed to be on the show today. Some work stuff happened with someone calling out or quitting, and it's Christmas rush at the bar and everything like that. So she's going to come and join us in the playoffs. But we're still going to do it. So shout out to her. She also sent me this dope thing. So while I was there was this crew neck that I really wanted. And I was like, dang it, I didn't pick it up. And so she knew I wanted it. So she sent it over to me. Which I was very thankful because she didn't need to do that. I'm trying to figure out style. There we go. Let me take this off right here. So it's really cool because one of the bottles is called Ryconic. So it says, in a world where you can be anything, be Ryconic. So it's like a play on words from iconic, Ryconic. And I love rye whiskey, so it's going to be dope. So cheers, Apollo. We'll grab a sip while we listen to Nabil's take, and then we'll kind of go from there. I'm having Nabil come up and give his little take on the Orlando game before we move into our game last night. So Nabil, give me a thumbs up if you are good to come on up. There's that thumb. Appreciate you. So without further ado, here is my guy, Mr. Nabil.
Yo,
bro?
what's going on?
Nope.
Chilling, man. How are you?
I'm doing good. Just about to go to bed. It's 2:00 here in England, but I just wanted to make a quick take before I go.
I
Just want to
appreciate
say
that.
congrats on winning the cup final. I was at first, when it first started, I didn't really like the idea of it. I had mixed opinions about it, but over time I have liked it. I've grown to like it, and it's good competitiveness midway through the season. Not even midway through the season, in December. So it's a good way to amp the intensity of the season, and that's what the Knicks did. They took care of business in the group stage, the quarterfinals against my Raptors, the semifinals, and the finals. It was a good tournament. There was amazing games. OKC was an amazing game. The Orlando game was close. So they did what they were supposed to do. They're a championship level team. Even though some people call this a fake championship, I don't. This is part of a season. It's not just for fun. It's a prize incentive. It's a lot of money towards the players, so they take it very seriously. And I think the fans, not just Knicks fans, but any other fans who talk bad about it, should really reconsider their thoughts, because it is a fun little tournament. And I'm glad the NBA put it in place for more competitiveness.
Yeah, I love that, Nabil. First, this is how you know you got something going on. It's 2:00 in the morning, and my homie is in England, and he's rocking with us, and he's not even a Knicks fan. Like this is my guy. And I agree with him, man. And I think that we're gonna pivot and talk about this topic after Nabil gets off, about the actual cup and people's split on whether it's something we need to do, something that's overrated, anything like that. But I appreciate you, Nabil. I appreciate your support for the show, but also, your level-headedness as a basketball fan. Like so many people are like, act as if they have like skin in the game, like they're investors in the team and they can't, like talk to anybody from another fan base. And here you are at 2 a.m, like, yo, let me rock with Phil and Apollo real quick, So I appreciate you, bro. And I hope that we don't keep you up too late so you can get some rest for your work day tomorrow. But thank you so much as always, Nabil. Appreciate you, bro.
Thank you.
Shout
Have
out
a
to you,
nice night,
Nabil.
everyone.
Have a good night, buddy.
All right, bro.
All right, so let's talk about this cup before we go into the post. Because I agree with him. Like, even within the Knicks fan base, there's so many people that are split on the NBA Cup. And does it matter? Should it happen? And as someone who grew up in an NBA era where it was so competitive, where it was like it didn't matter if it was the first game of the season, like you could see altercations between players because they were too physical, or someone got heated, and things just were very tense and there was rivalries. And I started getting to a point where it was like, okay, this is just regular season. Like, how many times have we heard that? Like, this is just regular season. It doesn't really matter. It's just regular season. You get to the All-Star break. The All-Star break's a complete joke. No one actually plays. There's no competition. You're like, why am I watching this? So for me, I like the NBA Cup. Like Nabil was saying, like, it was competitive. Like, it wasn't like it didn't matter to the players or the teams. So why are we as fans acting like it doesn't matter? Like, you saw the disgust and frustration on SGA's face when they lost. You saw when Jalen Suggs couldn't finish the game. You saw how frustrated and upset he was going back into the locker room. He had just played for almost 2 minutes or more, holding his thigh or his hip because he didn't want to come out. Like he wanted to play that game, like he wanted that win. And so if it matters to them, like I don't understand how we, can make it seem like it really is nothing, especially to the players at the end of the bench. They're almost doubling their salary, by winning the NBA Cup. And so that whole thing to me is a little crazy. I'm not one of those guys who's like, yeah, I want to raise a flag. I don't want to wave the banner, raise the banner in the Garden. I know people are split on that too, but I do think it's something that was awesome to win. So, what are your thoughts on the Cup, Apollo?
I mean, at first I wasn't a fan of it. Like most people, like I didn't understand it. I didn't know what the deal was. Some people had a good grasp on what the cause was, how it came about. How it came about. I mean, personally, it was something that I just didn't. I knew why they were trying to do it, but I didn't see how it was going to work. But then of course, there's a money incentive. The guys are always gonna play hard for more money. So at this point, especially now that we won, I love it. I love it. You know what I mean? You can't be mad at it. You can't be mad at it after you win, man. Like, but at the end of the day, even through the tournament this time, now that I understood it a little bit more, I liked it because they were towards the end of the game, guys are still trying to go and get their buckets. They're not just holding off and just trying to waste the shot clock. They're still going fast break and trying to get buckets with 30 seconds left, even though they're winning. So I do like the fact that it brings the competitiveness back to ball, and I think there's a lot of it's I love respect. Sometimes you can be it's just too much respect and competitiveness sometimes, especially in the NBA nowadays. Everybody's friends on social media and everything like that. So it was good to see guys fight for something, and for me, I just personally think that it's something that makes the league more just watchable. Like you said, it's earlier in the season, guys normally don't play hard. They wait until January, February to turn the Jets on. And then at the end of the day, now it's like, okay, you waited all of this time. And a lot of the guys, they also don't play hard. A lot of guys also don't play hard because they don't want to get traded once that deadline comes around too. They try to stick their way around the team a little bit more. But it's good to see guys this early in the season fight for something before Christmas, so I like it. You muted.
You're on mute. You're on mute.
That's such a good take. Like now that we won it, I like it. That's
Love
so
it.
true. But you're right. In an era where everybody's fans or friends of each other, it's cool to see them actually like take something that isn't in April or May and actually fight for it. I saw so many people frustrated that Victor Wembanyama didn't acknowledge Jalen Brunson after Jalen went up to him at the end of the game. Jalen went over and like tapped him on the chest, and he kind of just looked at Jalen and kept walking, like no interaction. And people were like, "Yo, that's so weak." And I'm like, "Are you kidding me? Like that was 90s NBA all the time, like." No one went up to each other and were like, "Hey, let's form two lines and shake hands like we did in Pee Wee League basketball, like intramurals." We didn't do that.
Also, I heard after the game that he was crying in his presser. I think he lost his grandmother.
Yeah.
He lost his grandmother. So I think he wanted to win that game, just to make it more gratifying. You know what I mean? So I understand that he was a little upset, but like you said, I love the energy. You know what I mean? Like we slap him on the chest or whatever. As long as you show respect, you don't got to be friends. Just show the respect. That's cool.
One thing I'm not okay with is people that are like blaming the fact that the Spurs lost on him losing a family member. Like, oh, he didn't show up because he was grieving this, that, and whatever. And I'm like, yo, like seriously, as a professional photographer, if I told my couple like at their wedding, like, hey, these photos are basura, like they're absolute trash. But I lost my aunt, or oh, I lost my grandma. Like, you think that it matters, to them? Like, they still paid me what they paid me, and they definitely didn't pay me what they pay Wimby. At the end of the day, that's unfortunate. My heart breaks for him. Like, it's never easy to lose somebody, but he's also a professional. This is also his career and his job. Like, he can play. He knows how to play through it. This is fans just looking for an excuse. But before we talk a little bit more, I have somebody that I have not seen in a while. And it's unfortunate because I like this guy. Like, he's good peoples. He's hilarious. He knows ball. He actually coaches, which is why most of the time when I hit him up and I'm like, yo, you want to get on? He's like, nah, bro, we're conquering the West Coast one game at a time. I'm like, all right, bro, real sweet, Swanee. So without further ado, here's my guy and Apollo's homie, Mr. Swanee.
Oh, you muted.
You on that mute life.
You
He
muted.
got the hat. He got the hat already.
He got the hat.
Yeah,
Y'all can hear
now we
me?
hear you.
Yeah, I hear you. You got the hat already, man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Smiling on us.
we was at the game. I had to get it.
Yeah,
I
that's
had
what's
to
up.
get it.
That's what's up.
Yeah,
I'm
man.
might get mine in January. It'll be here in
Yo,
January.
I told the guy when I walked in, I said, I know y'all got merch back there. Just put one aside for me because I know we get one. Y'all might as well put a Spurs merch out because I'm on my way out. And I went right back when I was coming out. I was like, my hat.
Where's my hat? I love it.
That's what's
So
up.
it's the perfect question. We were just talking about like thoughts on the cup. Like, is it something, overrated? Is it something worth supporting? All that stuff. You good. You don't have to worry. We all got kids. It's life.
Yeah,
What up, little Swanee? But
it's my daughter.
hey, hi. Hello. Go Knicks. I love it. The young generation. What are your thoughts on the cup?
Man, I'll be honest. The cup is an amazing event. The competitiveness of the teams that's playing, the fan bases that show up. Bro, San Antonio was crunk. I'm not even gonna hold y'all. San Antonio was crunk from before the game started until obviously they started losing in the fourth. But they was going at it, bro. They was talking their noise. I didn't even know they had a fight song. Like they got a fight song in San Antonio. They were singing it the whole time. They was going all blah blah blah. So I was trolling at the end. I was like, no, sing it now. Go ahead, y'all. Sing your song. Sing y'all song. Let's hear it. But it was good, man. The atmosphere was good. I thought like from the TV, it kind of seems like it's not a competitive environment. It seems like the crowd maybe not as much. That's not true, bro. When you there, it's competitive, and there's a lot of just basketball fans there. A lot of Lakers jerseys, Golden State jerseys, Grizzlies jerseys. Like you seen all people that just like basketball was at the game. It was highly attended. There was like maybe a few seats sprinkled here and there that was, that didn't have people in them, but it was a competitive game. Everybody wanted to win, bro. The players, the fan bases, everybody wanted to win. Like the fans that were there from other teams, we had Celtics fans come up to us at the game, not the ones on Twitter that don't go to games. I'm talking about the ones that really they was mad that their team wasn't in. It was like, yo, we want to be here. Like we want to be here. We want to win. Like I get it. It doesn't count on the regular season record, but it does mean something. If you are a competitor, you want to win. Period.
Mhm.
I don't care what it is. My boy said yesterday, it could be in a scrimmage. I want to win. If
That's
I'm a
it.
competitor, I want to win. So
Yeah.
miss me with all that. Oh, it's just a cup, or it's just this. No, I want to win. I want to win.
I love that. I love that. You know what's crazy to me, guys, is like I feel like people spin the block because it's the Knicks.
100%.
Because you got to think if let's say OKC beat the Spurs and then they beat us, it's OKC's continuing to show why they're going to be a legacy, and they're just giving you a foreshadowing of what's going to happen at the end of the season when they win another chip. That's the narrative that would be pushed if SGA and Chet led OKC to win. If the Spurs won, It's the alien has come into the league, and alongside his young, promising teammates, they're able to show that they're ready to dethrone OKC as the next legacy team. Like, but yet when it's the Knicks, but it's just they can't do that against OKC in a real series or when it really matters or when it like I'm sorry, Jordan Clarkson didn't look like it didn't matter in the last few minutes of the game. Tyler Kolek didn't look like it didn't matter. Matter of fact, the guys on the bench who never got out of their street clothes didn't celebrate like it didn't matter, and they're the ones that are actual paid NBA fans. So for us to have our little Twitter fingers and say, oh, it doesn't really matter is absolute nonsense. And all those that are in the media saying it doesn't matter is just because it doesn't fit your narrative to hate the New York Knicks. And you have to stick to your New York Knicks narrative because when it was a bubble and LeBron raised a bubble banner where everyone in the league said it was weird and different and didn't feel like a real season, you guys were okay celebrating the LeBron bubble banner, but now that it's a real season and all the players are actually competing, like you can't celebrate the fact that the Knicks won the cup. That's just nonsense, agendas being pushed. So I can't support that. I can't rock.
I think a lot of that has to come from people that didn't play ball, man. Because if you played ball, you know that, say you're in high school, right? You have your high school regular season, but before the season starts, you have these tournaments that you go to, and then around Christmas time, you go to the Christmas tournaments, and you go to those tournaments and you want to win, right? So if you win that tournament, you don't come back home and be like, oh, it didn't count because it wasn't the high school regular season game, right?
Yeah,
so
I want to win.
That's what this is. That's what this is. So it counts, and it's people want to win it, and I think it's a real thing. So the people that didn't experience that type of basketball, and going to those types of tournaments, are probably the people that are saying, "Oh, it doesn't count." But the people that have experienced that, they know what it is. They know what this is. Yep. It's dope.
Every park league I've ever played in, we wanted to win. It didn't matter that it was just a park league. That didn't matter.
Every league.
Every league.
On every level. I don't care. I want to win.
Yeah, I was about to say, forget park league. Like, if I'm at the YMCA getting ready to go to work and I'm putting out one more game, I want to win.
I'm not trying to lose.
Me and little tiny Tim over there are going to get into a little scuffle because we're that competitive. It is what it is. But I agree. So let's talk about the actual game, because that game was crazy last night. There was sometimes that I was straight up sweating in my seat, especially in the, that's what I'm saying, little one. That's how I felt. That's the sound that my heart and my stomach were making, that's just crazy. I had those kind of frustration sounds coming out of me too. My wife was like, yo, you okay? You need a doctor? I was like, no, we're just down 11, so whatever. But it was tight. It was really, really tight against the Spurs. And they weren't holding back. They are a talented team. Anyone who doesn't want to give it to the Spurs, that team is super talented. Castle, Vassell, Lassell, all the Assel, whatever, all those, all those guys. I didn't even mean to say that. That just came out. I was just trying to rhyme, and then I was like, oh, that's not the word that meant to come out. But anyway, forgive me, fans. But what I'm saying is, all those rhyming names, those kids are talented. That makes it to where Wemby isn't the only threat you have to worry about, and adding Fox to that team was genius. There were just moments where it was just dang it, we can't stop one guy in Fox, back-to-back threes, great reads, with the assist. But we ended up taking the win, and it was, what was it? The final score was 124-113. So I just want to go down the line and popcorn it around, and I'll call on each one of you for your thought. But I want to talk about the players on the team and what we saw yesterday. And so first, I want to start with talking about, where is it at? Mr. Jalen Brunson. All right, let's talk about JB. All right, and let's talk about what we saw from Mr. Jalen Brunson. To me, not his best game. However, he still led the team and still did what a captain needs to do and make moves even if you're not the center of the offense or, not everything is completely, falling for you. His percentage was down, especially from 3-point, like abysmal 20%. But still getting 8 assists, like this is a different Jalen Brunson, when you start talking about assists. So I'll go with you first, Apollo. What was your thoughts on Jalen Brunson last night?
I mean, it's like you said. It's first of all, shout out to the Spurs. Those young guys are going to be really, really, really scary in a couple years. I think that team right there is part of the reason why I believe our window is as small as it might be, because once they start getting it going, I don't think anybody's gonna be able to beat them with Wemby healthy. You know what I mean? Thank God he's in the West, and we don't got to deal with that.
Facts.
You know what I mean? 4 times a year, but Jalen Brunson last night, like you said, he was just being a leader. His shots weren't really falling the way that he wanted them to all night. But guys, he got them young guys were putting pressure on him. There was this one play where I think was it Vassell or Castle, one of them, one of the Ryman guys. He just was putting pressure on him. He couldn't get by him at all. And another play, he tried to get over half court. I don't know why he went into the corner of the half court like he did. Castle, yeah. And it ended up being an over and back on that play. And I'm just like, I don't know, that was a little uncharacteristic of JB. But it's to see these guys being around him and still help him and still do things like, and that was what I was always worried about that last year is if Jalen Brunson is not getting it going, if he's not rolling, what do we do? What do we go to? And when you have a system that's based off of ISO, it's really just, it's dysfunction when the head of the snake is not scoring. So when you have the system where it's based off of read and react and it's, getting the ball out and, touching and passing as soon as I've never seen these guys pass as much as they feel. Sometimes, a guy is passing before he even gets the ball. So, and just to have that system going, it allows JB to not have a great shooting night, but like you said, still have 8 assists and still be able to contribute in other ways to the game. And his impact in the game, no matter how much he scores, when JB's there, you know what I mean? Because you have to focus on him, which allows everyone else to fall into, everything else to fall into place and all the other guys to, hit shots and be aggressive the way they can be because everybody's focused on JB all the time. So, shout out to him, the captain. He led us to the cup last night. So, like you said, not a great shooting game, but a great leading game.
All right. Yeah. So shout out to the Cup MVP, Mr. Brunson Burner himself. And we're going to move to the next guy, and I'm going to throw it to somebody else because Apollo gave a great point. Last season, we would always go, if Jalen Brunson doesn't got it, then what? Because our team revolved around that. Like, that is what we needed. There were so many games that we needed Miracle Brunson. Like, we needed miracle after miracle after miracle. And if Brunson was off, there was an issue. And then we brought in Cat, and it was like, well, if he's off, at least we got Cat. That was the new narrative. At least we have Cat. So we're going to talk about Karl Anthony Towns, and there's a reason that we're going to talk about Cat. But I'll go first to Al. What was your thoughts on, Mr. Bodega last night?
Yeah, he also didn't have the best game. He finished with 16 points, 11 rebounds, so he still got that double-double. He did get 2 steals, which is nice to see. That means he's, working hard on the defensive end. And then the other thing that I always look for when I'm looking at Cat's stat line and his impact on the game is how many threes did he bang, right? We got Cat. He's the best big man shooter to ever live. And sometimes he doesn't shoot the 3 enough for me. So I like to see him jack up those threes, get the defense spread out so that, there's driving lanes for Brunson and for, Hard and for Bridges. So I was happy to see that he made 2 threes. He took 5. That's enough for me. I would like him to make like 3 a game, but 2 for 5 is fine, especially because the way OG Anunoby had it going. So 16 and 11. I love the rebounding. We definitely needed it. There was a point in time in the game where I felt like San Antonio was getting so many second chance points, and I felt like we were getting out rebounded. I had to go back and look at the box score and check the team stats, and we actually did out rebound them. But I don't know about you guys, but I felt that at some point during the game, like they were getting a ton of offensive rebounds. So good to see that Cat was in there mixing it up, getting them boards. But overall, good game from Cat. I give him like a B for that game.
So, yes, there was a point in time where we were like losing on the rebound game. It was a short stint, but it was in that time that they ended up going up 11 or 12. And that's why it felt so long, because it was increasing the lead, but also making us feel like coming back is further and further away. And so here's a funny situation is the narrative and the way the old offense was ran was, okay, without Jalen Brunson going off, like it's going to take a miracle. Then we got Cat, and it was, well, if it's not a Jalen Brunson night, at least it can be a Cat night.
Yep.
Well, guess what?
Yep.
We won the cup against a team that was hungry, and it wasn't a Cat or a JB night.
Facts.
Which shows that the system is different. If this would have been a Julius Randle, Jalen Brunson type offense that we used to run, and neither one of those were having a miracle game, there's no way we would have won that game last night. This is not the same team that we were even last year. Like, this team is different. But regardless of his bad game, there is one thing that Cat did that actually became my run that back moment.
The
right?
pass?
Oh, yeah. So
that was insane.
We're going to watch this because this was, and you got to get the right angle. Like, you can't just get one of those like mediocre angles. You got to get the whole side. You got to show that side, because that's where the game changer is for this right here. So let's go and share my screen, because this is my run that back moment.
Well, look at Towns. That's a great trap. Giving credit, he did not. And finds
this right here.
Anunoby on one of the best passes you'll ever see.
Yo, I did not see that coming at all. I thought he was cooked.
Bro,
I thought he was cooked.
What's even more incredible about that is the angle of which he makes that pass from. Like, I don't think people really understand how difficult that pass that he made really was. Because, first of all, the fact that he was even able to get that around Wemby, and then for Vassell to not be able to tip that ball and it goes to OG is insane. Like, that takes some high IQ. That's not no lucky stuff. That's somebody that really knows how to pass the ball.
I'm gonna be honest. I was complaining right up until that pass came up out of there, because I was like, yo, why did you still have the ball? Because he does this thing sometimes every now and then. He waits for the double team to get there, and then once they trap him, he can't really get rid of the ball. But that didn't happen this time. You know what I'm saying? So he did exactly what he was supposed to do. You know what I mean? So I was thoroughly surprised, and I gave him 100% credit for that. Because that was something that I didn't see that coming at all.
If I can, Phil, just real quick.
Yeah.
The thing that I appreciate the most about Cat this season, and I have to attribute it to coaching, because he's mentioned this from the beginning of the season, is his ability to stop complaining for calls and to get back on defense. Karl-Anthony Towns has literally, for the last few games, has stopped complaining on calls. And we all know, watching this team, how frustrating it would be, because he wouldn't get back on defense, or he just complaining, and it looks bad. It looks terrible. As somebody that likes to watch basketball, you now taking yourself out of this play to complain about a call, bro. Get back on defense. And Mike Brown had said from the beginning of the season that him and his team was making a point of emphasis to stop complaining for fouls. And that is a thing that I've noticed with this team, that we do not complain. Now, the only person that's still skirting the line is Josh Hart.
Yes.
He's still going to do his thing. But everybody else has really slowed down on it. It was real bad last season. It was
Yeah.
really it was out of control and out of hand. But Cat has made a serious effort, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was bad in the start of the season, which is why Mike Brown
Yes.
publicly said it. Like he was like, no, I straight up told Cat he needs to cut that out. Like, I love that.
Cut it out.
We never had that kind of accountability from Tibbs, especially like publicly, and so I love that. For me, that was the pass of the cup. Like, that was the best pass you're going to see. That was straight
Hands
up like
down.
Patrick Mahomes style, like sidearm, like just crazy. It was like Patrick Mahomes meets Nolan Ryan, assist to OG Anunoby. It was crazy. Like, to me, that was the highlight of the game. And so I was thankful. And here's the thing. Jalen had an off shooting night. He found a way to contribute with the assists. Cat had an off shooting night, was able to find a way to contribute with passes like that, but also with boards. These guys are learning that they don't have to be the star point wise to still be a star of a basketball player for this organization and for this roster. And I think that's huge. So we're going to move on to the next guy. But Apollo, what'd you think of that toasted weed, bro?
I liked it, man. It's what was the it gave me kind of I guess what's the a pecan or like a cashew kind of taste in
yeah.
there? Like, not more like an almond, more like an almond kind of taste.
Yeah.
Which was cool. I think it was it's not a lot of bite.
Yeah.
It's a nice balance.
Yeah. It's a good pour.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're going to pour this one up while we talk about the next player. This right here is the cigar blend, which, as you can tell from the name, pairs well with a cigar.
Hey,
Cigar
their bourbons are pretty dark, man. I like when my bourbons are that color,
bro.
man.
This
Makes
is
me
so
feel
dark.
like it has good body. Yeah,
I
that
love
looks
it.
dark.
This is so dark. This one comes in at 115 proof.
Nice.
So, and this one is it's a blend of bourbon whiskeys finished in a sherry cask, then in a Madeira cask, and in a port cask. So it's got three
Sounds
finishes on it.
fantastic.
Yeah, it's gonna be absolutely delicious. This is the actual one that I did crack open on the Orlando game, and it's delicious. So, all right, so let's talk about the next guy. All right, and we're gonna talk about OG freaking Anunoby. Like, this dude put in work for the New York Knicks, not only in that Orlando game. Yes, sir. Love it. His stat line was crazy. 28 points, 1 block, 3 assists, 9 rebounds, and he played the most second most minutes. Jalen Brunson played 41. No one at me about minutes police. Okay, this was a cup championship game. These guys haven't been playing those minutes at all this season. But OG was super impressive, guys. Like, the confidence to unload the three at a beautiful and healthy clip. His defense was just on point. And that's the hard thing is, like, when you look, he went 5 for 10 from 3, which is incredible. But even though he was so great offensively, defense doesn't always tell the story when you just look at stats, So that's why when people are like, oh, well, why would OG be an all-star when he averages like 20? What this guy averages like 30? Well, yeah, but he also does absolutely nothing on the other end, as opposed to OG, who does everything on the other end. Like, get rid of your like one-dimensional basketball player and look at the game from both sides. So, Apollo, this was your player of the game last night. Wait, who did I throw it to last on Cat?
That was me.
That was you. All right. So, Apollo, take the stage because you told me this was your player of the game.
Man, we don't get this win without OG, man. I think it's just the way he was playing. Of course, a lot of the guys that even the Jalen named at the end of the game, those we're not winning without those guys either. But OG was everywhere. He was everywhere. He was all over the place tonight. The past few games, it seems as though he understands his role in the system more and more every single game. You heard about it the other night, which I didn't know. He reached out to Dirk Nowitzki asking him about his shooting form. And I'm like,
it's the little things. It's the little things.
Yeah, man. I'm like, yo, what is going on? And he like he said, he was asking him about every little detail. And you know, it's just the two fingers and the railroad track and all of that he was talking about. So it was good to see that he's a student of the game. Like he wants to change. He understands where his faults were, and he said, you know what, I know exactly who I'm gonna ask. I'm gonna ask one of the best shooters of all time. You know what I mean? So OG just recently, of course, we know what he's been doing on defense. It's just the fact that now he's aggressive, getting to the basket. He's attacking, he's shooting, doing step backs and everything is starting to look more fluent. At first, when he started to do it, you can tell he wasn't really comfortable, but you know, this is free reign at this point. Like, you got it, go ahead, do your thing. But now he's starting to get more comfortable. Even when I was talking on my channel, I was talking about it a few times, and I'm like, OG's bag is a little empty every now and then. Like, he does some things, and it's like, what are you doing? But now recently, you know, he's like getting into what he's supposed to be doing, and now it's so much easier for him to get into that back a little bit. And a lot of it is just him being aggressive. A lot of guys can't jump with OG. A lot of guys aren't strong enough to deal with OG driving to the basket, giving him a shoulder bump. He's just taking advantage of what he is as a player. You know what I'm saying? And last night he showed out, man. It's the 28 points and knocking down 5 out of 10 from the 3-point line. It's just something that we didn't expect when we when we traded for OG. So, you know, shout out to him, man.
Little things that if you don't pay attention, like, you'll miss, you know, like, this guy is getting confident, and this is the perfect time to be like gaining confidence. Like, you just came back from an injury, yet you're still going full on competitive nature. You still have time to develop the things you're now trying to add to your game before playoff time. And it's already starting to look like it works, yet alone giving it time between now and the playoffs. Like, his off the dribble 3-point shot now. Like, it's not just a catch and shoot. Like, he'll dribble, he'll step back, he'll fake his defender, dribble, shoot, adding to his mid-range game. Like, adding the mid-range is huge, because now Mikal is not the only full-on threat from the mid-range. Now you got players that are going to shoot from everywhere. You get him, Mikal, and Clarkson on the court at the same time. That's 3 guys that can throw it up from any single part of the court, you know, like on the offensive end. They can shoot the 3, they can hit the mid, they can drive it, you know, like, whatever you throw at us, we can maneuver around that. And that was one of OG's limitations, was if they guard him, he's not going to dribble away from them, you know, like, it's they're there, it's done. Or there's a defender there, he's going to give it up. No, he might not. He might take a dribble or two and then shoot it in your face. Like, that is huge growth from OG Anunoby. And so I'm going to play a little clip for those of you guys who might not have known what Apollo was talking about when he was talking about Dirk Nowitzki, because this, to me, shows a true competitor, someone that really, really wants to win, someone who is a student of the game. Too many people get to the NBA level and all of a sudden they don't want to be students. They're the ones that know all, you know, and they stop growing. Someone I think that is straight up LaMelo Ball. Like, I feel like his ceiling has been his ceiling since year 2 in the NBA, and he's not getting any better, and the game is passing him by. But when it comes to OG, you don't see that. So let's watch this clip of him where he talked to Dirk Nowitzki, one of the greatest shooters, who is also a big, getting some advice from Dirk.
More about shooting. So last year he reached out to me and I wanted to know a few details. So I'm going to show you guys what I told him here. If you want to hold the mic.
What you taught OG, I got you. I'll give you my mic. All right, walk us through it.
So he just wanted to know every little details about feet, about positioning of the hands, of breathing, of where the eyes go. So he asked me all sorts of questions. One main thing that I told him about is the finger position on the ball. And I like to, when I shot the ball, I like to spread my fingers as wide as I could. And I wanted the pointer and the middle finger were the last 2 to touch the ball. That way you almost build like train tracks. And the ball should always go straight. You should never miss left or right.
Mute it.
That to me is crazy. Not just saying, hey, teach me technique, but down to the detail of I want to know where your fingers end up. I want to know where your feet are positioned, and I want to know what your eyes are looking at. Are they looking at the basket? Are they looking at your position of your hand? Are they looking at your opponent? What is going on in every single point of Dirk Nowitzki's shooting? Like, that is insane for him to like study that hard the game of basketball at this level. He's already one of the best, shooting power forwards in the league. And he's saying it's not enough. I'm hungry. I want more. So shout out to OG. And the next two we're going to talk about, this is a perfect transition because like Jay Ellis said, he's not the only one that helped us win that game last night. And what's great about your captain is when your captain also knows that there needs to be more recognition than just himself. And so I'm going to play this little clip right here.
Can I say something before I answer your question?
All right. And let's see. Is it sharing? All right. So I want to show you guys. This happened right as soon as the game was done. All right. In the fourth quarter, this was my tweet. All right. My two tweets. Clarkson and Mitch are balling out right now. OG been magical all night. And then at this pace of growth, Kolak can retire as a Knicks in my book. All right. And then within 20 minutes of those, maybe even 10 minutes, because it was the fourth quarter, you get this from the captain.
Of course.
OG Anunoby, Tyler Kolek, Jordan Clarkson, Mitchell Robinson, they play their ass off tonight. Now, without them, we don't win this shit. We don't win this. They play their ass off tonight, so yeah.
He said that's why he's our captain.
Yo, Josh Hart is hilarious, bro.
All right, we're going to talk about Joshy in a little bit. Josh. Anyway, Josh. But let's talk about those guys. All right, I'll throw it to you first, Al. I want you to talk about Mitchell Robinson's impact in that game.
Oh man, so I knew coming into this game that this was going to be a huge game for Mitch, right? Because Mitch was obviously going to get the Wemby assignment, and boy, did he show up, man! He showed up. He 15 rebounds in 18 minutes is insane. 10 of those offensive rebounds, like, come on, man! 2 dirty blocks. He got a steal. I mean, you couldn't ask for anything else. He didn't miss a free throw. Like, you can't ask for much more from Mitch. Like, so masterclass from Mitch, man. He showed his every words for us, man. Like, we can't. I think I'm on the don't trade Mitch ever train. He clearly impacts winning, man, and he can take us far, man.
Yeah. So one thing I want to say about Mitch is my friend Dylan put up a quote, a tweet, which was pretty incredible. He said, at this rate, Mitchell Robinson would have gotten 30 rebounds in 36 minutes. Like, if you put him in regular like playing time, which is crazy, because some people could be like, nah, if he played that long, the effectiveness would go. No, it wouldn't. Like, that's the thing about Mitchell Robinson. The effectiveness would not have gone down. I did want to pull out Al's Twitter fact check moment of the night. Mitchell Robinson did not miss any free throws. You are correct. And that's because Mitchell Robinson did not shoot any free throws. So, yes, he went 0 for 0. No missed free throws last night because he didn't take any. I thought that was a funny stat when you're like, he didn't miss any free. I'm like, I don't think he knows that he didn't shoot any. But, incredible game by him, like, held it down, like, just a great job. And even when he got those 4 points were when we needed 4 points. Like, it's cool to see that Mitch is hungry to be part of the offensive, scheme of things, but he doesn't force it. Like, he knows when it's time to play both hats and when it's time to just be that defender and rebounder. And so incredible game by Mitch. The next guy I want to give it up to is Jordan Clarkson. Like, Jordan Clarkson needed this game. Like, he really needed this game. He was starting to feel like he was in a slump. You could see in the last few games, every time he missed the shot, a certain 4-letter word was coming out of his mouth very, very easily because he was so frustrated in every missed shot, whether it was a free throw, a 3-pointer, a layup. He was just so mad. And people were like, oh, trade him. And I'm like, yo, you guys can't say he's a human torch and that, when he gets hot, he gets hot, and celebrate it when he's hot. And then when he's not, be like, oh, well, like trade him. Like, that's not how how he works. But I was very, very pleased with his game. So, Swanee, what was your thoughts on Jordan Clarkson, especially in that redemptive fourth quarter?
Man, I want to say that Jordan Clarkson really did his thing in that fourth quarter. At that point in the game, but when that fourth quarter started, we were down 5. Jordan Clarkson went off at the perfect time. It started with that little floater that he shot. He missed. He got an offensive rebound. He went back up. He got 2. They went down the court. They came back. OG shot from the corner. He missed. Who gets the offensive rebound? Nobody but Mitchell Robinson. He kicks it out to Jordan Clarkson, who hits that 3. It was huge. Then he hits another 3 again after that. After they go down, Mitch steals the ball, pass to OG. OG misses from the corner. Who gets the who gets the offensive rebound again? Mitchell Robinson kicks it over to Jordan Clarkson. It was absolute. He was on an absolute heater. He was on an absolute heater in the fourth quarter. And what people have to understand about Jordan Clarkson is Jordan Clarkson's minutes is going to be sporadic, and it's going to be dependent on how he plays the game of basketball. If when he's in there, he's not hot, he's not going to see the floor. When he's in there, if he's hot, he's going to see the floor. And we got to understand who Jordan Clarkson is. Jordan Clarkson is a flamethrower. He's going to have real good games, and then he's going to have real bad games. We knew that from coming into the season, that he wasn't going to be a consistent giving me 15 every night. That's not what he's here to do. He's here to pick up the slack. And he did a really great job last night. His energy was up, man. Everything that he was doing got the crowd pumped. When he hit that first 3, it was deafening in there. It was so loud. And they came back down and hit that other one. Bro, it was huge. Timely buckets.
What you want from a veteran is they show up when they need to show up. Like, that's what you get a vet for. You're not getting a vet so that they're, all throughout the game getting buckets, or, they're the guy that you're relying on. They're a vet, their time to shine completely from start of game to end of game. For 99% of vets, that ship has sailed. What you want in a vet on a team, especially like ours, the way it's built, is that in nights like these where your main guys are struggling, your vet can come through and pull you out of the muck and mire and help you get that win. Jordan Clarkson didn't show up in the first half when other guys were showing up. He had 2 points out of his 15. It's in that second half that he got his 13 points, and his shooting was on fire. Like, his numbers were great. I think he missed 2 out of 6 or 7 threes or something. Like, it was just crazy, like his shooting capabilities or whatever. No, it was like, let me look at his number real quick. Okay, he hit 3 of 5 threes in the second half. Like, he was just on, but he was knowing when to like shoot it and when to dish it, and the team was flowing in sync. And that was the crazy thing for me, which we're going to talk about Mike Brown a little more, but that lineup floored me, but it worked.
Yes.
He had Jalen Brunson out there with Tyler Kolek and Jordan Clarkson.
That was my favorite lineup.
That was a crazy lineup. You want to talk
That
about
was my favorite lineup last night.
Antonio, like too small for San Antonio. That would be proof in the pudding right there. But it wasn't. And so shout out to Jordan Clarkson. And then that brings me to my guy. And I'm going to take this one first because
before you switch, Phil, sorry. Yeah. Before you switch, the other thing you made a really great point about Jordan Clarkson is when Jordan Clarkson was in Utah, I don't know if you guys watch a lot of Utah basketball. I'm on the West Coast, so I watch a lot of West Coast basketball because the games are on. It's not too late for us over here. Jordan Clarkson used to take really, really bad shots and a lot of really bad shots. What I've noticed, him being here in New York, if he realized he ain't got it going, he's going to try to make the pass, or he's going to try to make a play. He's going to try to get a rebound. He's not trying to overdo it. But when he sees that ball go through the net, he is going to shoot that thing. And
Yeah.
I appreciate that because Jordan Clarkson is going to win us some very important basketball games.
That's a great point. So many people call him a chucker, but he said even before he got here, he said, I know some of my shooting's erratic, like he said that, like before he got here, he's like, but I know that this is a different team and my role here is different and I have to adjust. And for someone that was the way he played his game for as many years as he has, and he's been able to adapt and have games like he did last night, you gotta raise your hat to him. Like you have to go, okay, old dogs can learn new tricks and they can light you up as they do so. So shout out to Jordan Clarkson.
I was really happy to see that performance from Jordan Clarkson because when we started this pod, we were talking about the Orlando game, and one of my observations from that game was we didn't get to talk about this was that might have been Jordan Clarkson's worst game as a Knick. He had 2 points that game. He looked really, really bad. And so for him to come out and perform the way he performed yesterday is huge, man. Because I'd rather have him where he's feeling good about himself. He has that confidence, that swagger, and he can start putting the ball back in the hoop, man. So it was great to see.
Yeah. And last thing I'll say about Clarkson is it came at the right time. Like, luckily for us, the start of our season is the easiest part of the schedule that we have all year long. So for him to start coming into like his own at this point in the season, before we start playing some of these crazy games and we start doing a lot of these West Coast road trips and everything like that, this is the perfect time for Jordan Clarkson to, come into his own and start contributing to the Knicks. So shout out to Jordan. Now, without further ado, get me my Tyler Kolek jersey. Like, delete me. I'm putting this out there right now. Delete me if you're putting any Kolek, trades up on your Twitter. Like, don't do it. Like, don't do it. For me, this is one of those guys that has shown such rapid progression this year in his growth. It's insane to watch. Like, to go, oh, he's a cone, to now looking at him and going, he's actually one of the best defenders that we saw in that stint of play. The way he fights through screens, the way he can read around, the way that he's predicting the screen is coming and goes around the defender. Like, he does not quit. He is a fighter and he wants to get better and better and better. And so he's the kind of guy that I look at this roster and I say, a lot of these guys that we have are win now guys, like on timeline. But what about when that timeline is done? What's next? To have a guy like Tyler Kolek as your what's next on your roster is incredible. Like, especially because we don't know the status of what's going to happen with Miles McBride, like once his contract is up for renewal and everything like that, so to have Tyler Kolek on this rookie contract and be able to say, he's not just our right now, he's our tomorrow. Like, that is huge. And so for me, I said this earlier in the season, me and Apollo were talking about Tyler. I consider this Tyler Kolek's rookie year, to be completely honest, because he was not able to play under Tom Thibodeau and develop. And if he would have developed at this rate last year, imagine what he would be for us right now this year. Like, he's already ridiculous for us this year. So imagine what he could have been. So for me, Tyler Kolek was my player of the game. And the reason is because his shot selection was on point. Just 11 points, but only 15 minutes. And 4 for 6, 1 for 2 from 3. Was able to also, at his size, get 4 rebounds, 3 assists. Like, you want to talk about like how Mitchell Robinson is able to get so many boards, per short minutes. That's Tyler Kolek with his assists. The Tyler Kolek goggles are incredible. Being able to see what this kid sees on the court is insane because we can see it and be like, oh, so-and-so's open. But when you got a guy that's like 1.5 feet taller than you guarding you, and you're still able to see that in the heart of the game, like, that's incredible. So Tyler Kolek to me was super impressive last night, super impressive night in and night out. So as soon as I sell my townhome, the first thing I'm doing is buying a Tyler Kolek jersey because it needs to happen, because I don't want him to be traded, and I will fight whoever I got to fight in the front office to make sure that doesn't happen. Shout out to my guy, Regular Joe. Great win last night. It's time to turn our attention to the real trophy. Facts. We're gonna do this.
Facts.
Jay Ellis said, "I took him out of my trade machines, Phil." You know, Jay, I appreciate the humility and everything you're doing, bro. He said, "I was looking for the cap, a Colic Hive T link. It's gonna come. We're gonna
No,
create that.
Cop. He
Just
meant Cop.
Oh, cop. Yeah.
Cop. Yeah.
We're definitely gonna get that.
Can I just say something about Tyler Kolick, man? It's the kid is so the confidence that Mike Brown instills in this kid just by giving him, especially you sat Josh and Mikal for extended minutes.
Thank you, Apollo.
To keep this kid out there playing. He played 20 minutes.
Bro, he played serious minutes last night.
And I had no problem with any minute that he was out there. He didn't look like he was a step slow on defense. He didn't look like he was a cone at all. All the problems we said we had with Tyler Kolick, he cleared it up last night. Every single one. And to see him do that on that stage, it's come on, bro. At this point, anyone who is defending Tibbs, I'm so sorry to bring his name up, guys. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. But at this point, to have like Jay Ellis said in the chat, I'm not going to pretend like he was a good defender last year.
He was not.
We're not going to act like he was. But the confidence, Tibbs is not playing Tyler Kolick 20 minutes in this kind of game.
Not happening.
It's not happening.
It's not happening.
That's not happening. So,
here's the thing: he wasn't playing him 20 minutes in any kind of game.
In any kind of game.
In no game.
You know?
It was not a game that it wouldn't have mattered if it was Charlotte. It don't matter. It's not happening.
And that's the frustrating part because, yes, he was not a great defender, but it was his rookie year. Like, how does a player develop into something that he's not without actually playing in the NBA? Like, I'm sorry, under Mike Brown, even though Tibbs was apparently the defensive mastermind, who's playing better defense? Jalen Brunson playing better defense.
Yep.
Yes.
Cat playing better defense, actually getting awards as best defender.
Absolutely.
Like Jordan Clarkson playing better defense. Like all of these guys are playing better under Mike Brown, who is apparently the offensive mastermind. And what are we going to do about defense? Well, guess what? He's come here and he's revolutionized both ends of the court for the New York Knicks. And Tyler Kolick is showing like, hey, if someone actually invested in me last year, this could have been me then, because he's hungry. Like some rookies, I think some rookies come into the league thinking that they're good enough on both ends that they don't grow, even if they're great. You see how many like top 5, top 10 players that end up fizzling out within a year or two, and you're like, man, that was a complete bust. You want to know why? Because they came into the league thinking that they were everything that the NBA needed, instead of thinking the NBA has something that I need. And so Tyler Kolick is a student of the game, just like we talked about OG. And so you can't teach basketball vision, but you can teach, what you do with your skill sets, how to develop those skill sets. And Tyler Kolick has the harder one, which is the IQ and how he sees the game. And now he's polishing the things that need to be polished. And he looks like a freaking 4-year player instead of second year who played maybe 3 minutes a game when it was dead time last year. So shout out to him.
Before you move on, I got 2 points I want to make about Tyler Kolick. Well, the first point I wanted to make, it goes back to, I'm not going to say his name, but in order to develop a player in something, I can't develop.
Real quick. Tibbs is like Voldemort. Like, no one wants to say his name. The coach that cannot be named.
He's getting no recognition from me. So all of last year, one of the biggest things that I used to complain about was, how are you sending players to the G League to prepare them for the NBA? Those people are in the G League because they are not ready for the NBA. So I'm going to send someone who's not ready for the NBA to a league full of people who's not ready for the NBA. Somebody help me make that. Please help me make that make sense, because it makes zero sense. If I want to develop a player for the NBA, he has to get minutes within that level of play. If he's not playing versus people that are of that ilk, he's not going to learn what needs to be learned, man. He's going to go down there, he's going to dominate, and he's going to come back and he's going to look the same. It's not going to be an effective thing to do. He's gotten, and if you've noticed his progression, It started off with real small spot minutes, but he started doing the little things, moving his feet, playing defense, taking charges,
Yeah.
making the right making the right pass. It's the little things that started to instill more and more confidence with Mike Brown in putting Tyler Kolek into those situations where he's like, you know what, I trust this kid. And last night, man, we were going absolutely bonkers watching Tyler Kolek. Tyler Kolek, and then I'm gonna finish it here. One, he's a competitor and he's a student of the game. He has great vision, and you put him to learn behind someone like Jalen Brunson.
Mm-hmm.
You put him to
Crazy.
learn behind somebody as skillful as and you can watch his development within the offensive package of his game. He has a lot of Jalen Brunson type of moves in his bag now. And the thing that he has that Jalen doesn't is that court vision, the passes. So he'll go to make a move and you have to bite because he's going to shoot. And he'll give that ball. He'll make the right pass, man. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love what he's been doing. I love where he is as a player, and I hope his confidence continues to grow, bro. Love Tyler.
And you pretty much took the words out of my mouth. Like Tyler Kolek, if you want to define Tyler Kolek's playing style this year, he is a straight up sponge. Like he is looking at the players around him and he is figuring out what things are healthy in their game that he needs to add to his own. So like you said, some of the ways that he takes it to the basket, the way that he gathers the ball, the way that he uses his body, how he positions himself, very Jalen Brunson like. The
Very
confidence,
Jalen Brunson.
Yep. The confidence when he shoots the three, very Miles McBride like. Like the way that he just steps into it, doesn't overthink it, just shoots it. He knows it's gonna go. Like that is very him, defensive wise.
Yes.
You see
Getting
that
into
he's
the passing
looking at Miles
lanes.
McBride and going, okay, he's a small guy. This is how he does this. I'm going to do this. So he's a sponge. Like he's doing everything that you would want from a player. And you just got to tip your hat off to him. Like he is seriously incredible.
You know what's the other thing? Sorry, the last thing I'm going to say. The other thing last night, when he took that offensive foul, even though they challenged it and it was overturned, when he took the offensive foul, the energy that he brought to the team when he was willing to sacrifice his body to make that play was insane, bro. They knocked him over and he was like screaming. He was hyped, like, let's go. He brings an energy. If we down and Tyler gets on the floor, he's like a little bottle rocket, man. He's ready to go. He always gets at least one steal now every time he gets out there, which turns into a big play for us. And I love that. I love that about Tyler.
There's another crazy little play from him, and Phil, I tagged you in this guy's post. This guy made like a minute 30 video on just bigging up Tyler Kolek, but there was a play where Clarkson missed a shot and I think Dylan Harper catches the rebound, but Wemby is sprinting down the court and Mitch Robinson is trailing him and Wemby's about to get a layup, but Tyler Kolek checks him. Checks him like and slows him up just a bit that Mitch gets to catch up, and then Tyler Kolek took Dylan Harper. Yo, that's what's keeping him on the floor because we always knew he had the passing ability. His shot is also coming around now. He's making more of his shots, but those little things like that is what's gonna keep getting him 20 minutes a game.
Yeah. Apollo, what were you gonna say? And then I'll close on Tyler, and we'll go to the last pour and last topic.
No, you could close because that was exactly the play that I was going. Okay. I was about to bring up.
Same.
Yeah.
Yep.
The crazy thing about it is, you look at some of the things that he does, and they're far beyond his years of basketball education. Was it the Orlando game where he made that bucket and then they tried to throw it in and he turned around real quick and caught the inbound? Like this kid is doing things that were like, he's doing the Jose Alvarado type stuff, you like from a guard on defense. And so, seeing that stuff and seeing that he's like blocking shots at his size, like that's crazy. That's straight up crazy. Like I'm one of the shorties on the court. I'm not getting no blocks when I go even to the Y. This guy's getting blocks. And one thing that shows that it doesn't really matter what the New York content creators, media, anyone really thinks, it's what the players think. You look at who guys are going to when they're celebrating, people are gravitating to Tyler Kolek. When
Yes.
Jordan Clarkson had that moment, he ran up to Tyler Kolek. Like, those kind of things. They're listening to him when he's directing and saying, let's do this, let's do that. Like, he's playing with years under his belt authority, even though he's barely gotten any time to shine. So shout out to him for that.
He did it to Mitch in that game when he gave him that pass, and Mitch blew the dunk instead. He passed it out, and he told him, "No, dunk the ball."
But that was Hug Porty.
That was Hug Porty.
Hug Porty.
Yeah.
You're right. My bad.
Hug Porty.
Yo, dunk the ball. What is wrong with you? You are big.
I love it.
Dunk it.
I love it. I love it. So shout out to him. We're not going to go in detail on this guy, but I do want to give a shout out to Mikal Bridges, because so many people are like, oh, what a waste, Mr. All these picks, and he is sitting on the bench in the fourth. If it was someone else, I might think that ego gets in the way, but you got to remember that one of his gripes last year was that they were playing so many minutes and that young guys weren't getting the opportunity to play and weren't getting opportunities to showcase their skill sets. Like, that was one of his things that he had against Tibbs was, why are we playing 35 plus minutes when we got talented guys at the end of the bench that are waiting for their opportunities, So I think Mikal Bridges is one of those guys, one of the few guys that cares enough about the NBA, cares enough about the team that he's not going home and going, dang, I didn't win that one. Like, he's going, my squad got it, like Jalen got it, Josh got it, Kolek got it, we got it, and so those last 4 minutes, I think people are spending way too much time overthinking the fact that Mikal was on the bench. But we're going to end player talk with this fun little moment, which was my other.
I already know what this is.
You guys already know. And you know what? For this one, I'm going to add some Christmas backgrounds that StreamYard gave us, just to be in the festive little mood of, unfortunately, what we had to witness in 4K. So,
oh man,
here's my run that back moment.
Please don't run it back.
Oh, it's happening. What in the living daylights? Look at Jalen. Jalen did not. Jalen was livid, bro. Look at
the zoom in is crazy.
That zoom in's crazy. And the fact that he didn't the fact that his tweet was like, dang, really in 4K? Like, that joke was, it's crazy. Like, to me, I gotta wonder what Jalen really thought of that. Like, you were celebrating one of the biggest moments of your career, and your homie decides that he's gonna go digging, for brown gold. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's violation, bro. He violated him.
He kind of did violation.
He violated him, bro. Like, that was crazy.
And we're not gonna give it too much time. We just had to highlight it because how do you not?
I look at it from a different perspective, right? I look at it from this perspective. Your teammate is comfortable enough with you to do something like that to you when we won a game. Now, mind you, however you may feel about it, that says to me that we have a locker room that's a lot closer than people actually think.
I should have punched him in the chest.
So answer me this, Swanee.
I don't prank people. I don't fuck with. I don't make jokes with
that's
people.
A fact.
I don't fuck with.
I agree.
I would never even do no type of stuff like that. But if I was into, because that's some real type stuff, you know what I'm saying? But there is a specific group of people that like to make them kind of jokes. They went to school with a lot of them kind of people. Y'all know what I'm talking about? So they comfortable with that kind of stuff. My thing is,
here's my question. Here's my question for you. How much baby oil is in the Knicks locker room?
It better not be none. It better not be none.
There better not be none.
There better not be none in there, bro.
I don't think there's any baby oil in there, man.
First of all, I'm with you. I'm definitely with you. Like, in terms of, like, you got to be comfortable with somebody you mess with like that, right?
Have to be.
But there are boundaries. You know what I'm saying? And that area,
your boundaries might not be Jalen's boundaries.
Hey, listen, you might be right about that, and these are the questions I don't need to be having about my squad. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to know.
Here's the thing. All right, so before I was a full-time photographer, okay, I was full-time making music on the road. Okay. And all the bands, as we got, comfortable touring across the country with each other nonstop, we did stupid stuff, like, especially out of high school, you got like nut checks and stuff like
Exactly.
that. When people
Yeah,
ain't looking,
yeah,
I
yeah.
understand that.
Absolutely, absolutely.
But this is on national television after you just won the NBA Cup. You're holding up your man's holding up a trophy,
The
and you're holding up
thumb,
your thumb in his corn Julio.
The thumb
Like
was
it's
Right.
crazy.
the thumb is
Yo.
But anyway,
yo,
alright.
it was all right. Yeah, next.
Yeah, we gonna move
I
along.
will say this. before you move on, right? Vucevic from Chicago Bulls. I don't know. I like to watch. I watch a lot of basketball. He was doing a
Yeah.
post game interview, and his teammates was trying to play around with him. Not even on none of that kind of stuff. Just like, yeah, blah blah blah. Did you see how he reacted to them?
I
He
didn't
reacted
see
to them
that.
like he was like, "Man, get off of me, yo, stop, yo, leave me alone." Blah blah blah. Like he really didn't like his teammates, and it shows. This was right after they were on that winning streak and they started to lose games. It shows, bro. If I don't fuck with you like that, it's gonna show on the court. So yes, it might not be our cup of tea,
I feel
but
you.
there's something to it. Whatever it is, to whoever may be.
All I'm saying is,
I hope that's all it was. That's
all I'm saying is hold the tea, and we're gonna move on to the whiskey with no thumbs. All right, no thumbs in this episode. All right. So this one is the one that Mr. Apollo is looking forward to. Beautiful label. This is their Ryconic. I've had their regular Ryconic. This one is twice barreled straight rye whiskey finished in honey casks. I am a huge fan of honey casks. So we're gonna pop this open. Woo! I love that sound. It's a beautiful sound. And what I love about this brand is a lot of people, like, when they partner on the show, no offense to some brands, but they're like, hey, we'll send you bottles, we'll send your, co-host samples. And I'm like, come on, or they'll just send me the bottle and then me and Apollo got to play like mailman, and I got to get them samples or drop them off somewhere when I'm in North Carolina. But they were like, yo, we're going to send Apollo whatever we send you. And I'm like, that's what it should be, because it's not just, Phil and that other guy. This is swishing and dishing. This is my brother. We got to, we got to make this happen. So shout out to King's family once more. All right. So let's talk.
Whatever, Joe. What? Joe's in the chat talking trash about me. Leave me alone.
Man.
Leave me alone, Joe.
You so regular, Joe.
Shout out to my shout out to my guy. That's one of my co-hosts for my show. He's just messing with me. So
yeah, he's just giving you a hard time. So shout out to Mike Brown. That's all I'm gonna say on that topic, because it is 10:12. We're gonna get done by 10:30. But shout out to Mike Brown. I'm seeing the changes. I'm loving it. Thank you for what you're doing. Appreciate you. What we're gonna end on is the rest of the season. All right. So there was a lot of talks, trades and stuff like that. Like, are we still exploring? Do we still explore? Do we still see what's available? If so, what kind of piece do you think that we need? I saw, thank you so much. Chase Stacks, appreciate you for the $4.99 super chat. Y'all in the chat, feel free to drop any super chats you want. We have no problem taking super chats, but also there's another way as well, which is buy me a coffee, where YouTube's not able to completely steal all of our money. And that's at the top right there. Anything you guys contribute pretty much goes right back in the show. We don't make no money. We just have fun with the Knicks. We're not, doing this to pay the bills. Maybe one day we'll see how it goes. But anyway, he said, how do y'all feel about a Knicks OKC finals? So we'll talk about that once we talk about if we think we need to still make any adjustments for the rest of the season now that trades are available and can be on the table. I'll go with you first, Apollo.
I'm sorry, I was reading the chat. Say that part one more time.
Do you think there's any trades to make? If so, big, small, do we still keep ourselves open to all possibilities? What do you think?
I think, especially winning the way we did and seeing how these guys came together as a unit, I think you chill out. You know what I mean? Especially any big trades, because you're gonna have to make a big trade in order to get one of those guys, like the Giannis's of the world. So I think we're gonna chill out right now. Yabusele though. We might have to, you know, I don't know, man. It's not working out. I don't even think he played last night. So
DNP.
yeah, man, it's not looking good. It's not looking good. I expected more from Yabusele. I'm not upset at him. I just don't think he fits the system. I think this is just a lot that he doesn't understand. Mike Brown did mention that he and Cat, we're gonna have the hardest time to adjust out of everybody because since they were playing at the 4, they have to run, guard 1 through 4 and run 1 through 4 things and stuff like that. And since now that it makes sense that Cat has been playing a lot better recently because he's been playing the 5, and you push Mitch back to the secondary unit. This way, you keep Cat at the 5, and he doesn't have to run that 1 through 4 thing, which makes it a lot easier for him to do what he has to do. But it's not working for Yabu. And when you have a guy like Kolek come off the bench and play 20 minutes over him, and you're effective doing so, and you're making more than him, it just doesn't. You got to make a move. You got to make a move. Unfortunately, so shout out to Yabusele. He's not a bad player. I just don't think he matches. But I think that's a move that they should consider making at some point for like some kind of wing off the bench.
Yeah. Shout out to Xavier. He said, I was today years old when I realized Phil all caps was the double entendre. Yeah, bro. It's all about wordplay, bro. All about wordplay.
He's a rapper, man.
I'm a rapper. What do you expect? But one thing I'll say about Yabu, to get a DNP the day before your birthday in the NBA Cup, that hurts. That says something. That definitely says something. I'll go to you first, Al, and then Swanee. What are your guys' thoughts on rest of the season? Do we look at entertain trades? Do we stay put? What do you think? Mr. Al from Harlem.
All right. So I don't think we need to make a big trade. Earlier in the pod, we also spoke about the 180 that the starting 5 lineup has made, right? Last year, they were really bad. This year, all of a sudden, they're really good. And we gave a lot of credit to Mike Brown, but the other part of that is they just had a whole year of a regular season to like gel and build chemistry. They finally got a training camp this year. Last year that they made the trade for Cat and he didn't get to participate in training camp. So if we make a big trade, reset that chemistry that has been built, and it's gonna take another year. Like swinging a big trade doesn't necessarily mean that we're gonna win the chip right away. If anything, it might reset that clock for like chemistry to have to build all over again. So I'm very hesitant to swing a really big trade. That's just me. I know people like the sexy names and all that stuff, but I don't think about it that way. I think we do need to get a wing. We need to get some height. I'm one of those guys that's constantly complaining about how small we are. So I say some things that are not popular, like I'm okay with trading Deuce because Deuce is 6'2", 3-and-D guard. Like we need to get taller. I would like for us to swing for Dante DiVincenzo. He's not that much taller, but he is taller. But if not Dante, I think we need to target somebody like 6'8" and up, like a Herb Jones. Like we need that type of player. But those players they cost a lot. So I don't know if that trade is out there for us to make. But those are the trades that I would like. I really would like Dante back. If not Dante, then I think I just want to shoot for somebody that's 6'8" or better that can give us some height.
Yeah. The only thing I'll say, regular Joe said it resets the chemistry and it will most likely reset the depth that we built.
The depth, yep.
The only trade when it comes to like a guard out of the people that you said that doesn't necessarily do that to is Dante. Because most of the players outside of Cat have played with Dante from college or in the NBA. So there's a lot of familiarity already there. But some of the others could, ruffle some feathers. If the Knicks are going to continue with Miles McBride, I say lock him in. I think he's incredible. But the question is if, especially on the 3-point shooting streak that he went on right before his injury, like that's just boosting up your value. Like, are the Knicks going to be able to give him enough of what he wants? That's the big thing that, we have to realize with the contracts we have is, do we have enough to retain the players that are actually developing? And so we have to go from there. But Dante is somebody that, to me, is always welcome back in a Knick uniform. I think in order to be a Knick and back with his guys, he would compromise, on like longevity pricing and stuff like that. I just don't see if that's actually going to happen because, if you're looking at the trade, how does Minnesota feel about the trade right now? They just watched us win the cup. My friend Ari posted, if watching the Knicks and Cat win the NBA Cup last night wasn't enough for you, the T-Wolves and Grizzlies are on NBA TV right now, and Julius Randle has 6 points, shooting 3 from 11. So you got to go, do they feel like they got the low end of the stick? And if they do another trade with us, like, is it going to cost us more than we'd be able to, meet? But Swanee, what are your thoughts on trades?
So here's my problem with trades. I think it starts with, this is a new coach and this is a new team. I think that a lot of people are impatient. For instance, leave it up to Knicks fans. We trade Kolek before we get to see this version of Kolek. If we could start making trades from the beginning of the season, you leave it up to Knicks fans, Tyler Kolek would be gone, Mitchell Robinson would be gone. We'd have a bunch of people that we don't know trying to reset that chemistry. So to me, I think that we have to be patient. We have to be patient. This team, it's a new coach with a new system. Kat even said that it's difficult. It was difficult for him to understand where he really fit in with this offense, like what he's supposed to do, where he's supposed to go. But now we're starting to see strides. I've never seen Kat since he's been a New York Knicks since last season play defense the way he's been playing defense this year. And that only comes.
It's like last 4 games, not even this year.
Yes, thank you. That he's getting more and more comfortable in the system. So I think people just need to be patient with the team and allow the team to continue to develop. I don't like messing with chemistry because I feel like chemistry is something that you cannot buy. You cannot. I don't care if you're the richest owner. Case in point, richest owner in the NBA has probably the most expensive roster there. And them motherfuckers can't win games like we can win games. And they got all the star-studded people. Granted, they may have some injuries, whatever. But chemistry is something, as a coach, I have never coached on that level, so y'all chill out. But what I am trying to say is some of my favorite teams haven't been my most talented teams. They have been my most close-knit teams. Teams that love playing with each other, teams that love playing for each other. That is something that I don't like to mess with.
And Josh has proven that they like playing with each other.
Bro,
Hey,
but this team really enjoys when you see every time somebody makes a basket, the entire bench is up. I watched that last night. That bench didn't sit down that entire fourth quarter. They were up, they were yelling, there's not a soul sitting down. Mind you, when that fourth quarter started, there were starters sitting on that bench. They were not starters in the game. They were starters sitting on that bench watching the team play. And they were excited for the plays that were being made by the players that don't start the game. You can't mess with that. I think we got to just let it ride for a little bit, nurture it, continue to let them develop, get used. We still, what y'all don't understand is they're asking for players, and we still got Shamet and Deuce McBride out. We still got Shamet and Deuce McBride out. So we have some depth that's missing right now, y'all. So it's one of those things where if like what I like about this team is it's not always the same person that's gonna go off any given night. Jalen's gonna do his thing. We know that. You're gonna get an OG game, then you're gonna get a Mikal game, you're gonna get a Clarkson game, you're gonna get a Kohler game. There are so many pieces on this team. The Shamet game. There's so many pieces. The Deuce game. There's so many players on this team that have the capability to go off on any given night. And they're so together that if it's not my night, feed the man whose night it is. You cannot buy that. You cannot buy that, bro. You cannot buy that. So I say leave it alone. Let them continue to figure this out. I'm telling y'all, by the time money time roll around, like real basketball playoffs, we gonna be jumping on our couches, standing up, running around our houses, going crazy with the way they're gonna be playing. It's just be patient. That's what I think. Just be patient.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I agree with you guys. I don't know if you guys ever saw one of my favorite movies, Kevin Wendell Crumb, that movie Split. You
No,
ever
I
seen
didn't
that?
see it. I didn't see
Okay.
it.
It's one of the
Love
best,
that movie. Love
insane.
that movie.
One of the best acting like performances I've ever seen in my
Yeah.
life. Like that's up there with me and like Memento and like some of those hard hitting films.
He played like
Um,
6 roles in one movie.
6 different roles. So
It's
it's this
insane.
guy, he in his mind, he has all these split personalities. But when he becomes that person, it's the most convincible thing you'll ever see. Like he is that person. And nothing can tell him different. And I
Is that
feel
is
like,
that the guy that played from the main character from Wanted?
yeah, I think so.
Yes, yes,
The one with the
yes,
bullet
yes,
Yeah,
bullet
yeah.
curving. Okay. I know what you're talking
yes.
about now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Brother,
So
that man he plays a woman and you think he's a woman.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
wild.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Wild.
That's
Stellar
crazy.
performance. And I say that to say that in the times where I was exploring Karl Anthony Towns for Giannis trades, it's because I felt like that's what I was getting with Cat on the court. Is you did not know which personality was going to show up.
Mhm.
Like it was night in and night out. It was just like, what is going on? I saw that you could do this yesterday and you did it in excellence. Now you can't do that at all. What is happening? And it's so frustrating. And so if Cat can play night in and night out, like he's played these last 2 games. Notice how I say these last 2 games because he did not play the same in either game when it comes to like stats. One was a great offensive
Correct.
game, one wasn't. But he was reliable and a contributor on both ends of the court, regardless of whether the ball was going in the basket or not. If we get that kind of Cat, that is a game changer for the
Yep.
Knicks this season. Like we are a completely different team if that happens. And that's what we need from Cat. We're throwing that kind of money at him because he needs to be that player. So I'm hoping he does because when he is that player, it makes it easier for everybody. It makes it easier for Jalen, makes it easier for all of our role players. That play of him getting the most crazy pass that you saw all cup
Crazy.
was because he was so good, even at a poor shooting night, that he demanded the attention of Wemby and somebody else defensively. And he utilized that moment to make the best decision and best read. So for me, if we get that night in and night out, it's going to be incredible. And so I wouldn't do any big trades. I agree. Making too many moves can disrupt the chemistry, but some chemistry is not there, such as Yabu. Like I really, really wanted it to work, but it's not. Getting DMP'd the day before your birthday shows that this is not going to be a long lasting relationship. Like it's not. So when I look at players that are being spoken about, I look at guys like Sadiq Bey. That is someone that you add to your bench and it changes things. It gives you the wing depth that you need, gives you some strength, gives you a little bit of a, aggressive guy on your bench. And even if he got 5 to 6 quality minutes, it would still be more than the 1 to 2 not quality minutes that Yabu's currently getting right now. And I say keep the options open, not because I don't believe in our team, but because I know every other team is keeping their options open. So we have to be, attentive to what's happening in the league. Something just came up that the Pistons are a team that would be interested in monitoring, what the Nets decide to do with Michael Porter Jr. You add Michael Porter Jr. to this Detroit Pistons team already, and okay, they get that much better from shooting. You add like a good 3-point shooter to Cade Cunningham next to the aggressiveness in the paint of Jalen Duren, you have a different team, so we got to be attentive to what's actually happening by, the rest of the league as well, especially in the East. But those are my thoughts on trades and everything like that. We have our next game, I believe, tomorrow, right? Right back at it.
Pacers.
Yep,
Right
play
back
tomorrow.
at it versus
Pacers.
Pacers. I don't think
We
anybody.
probably going bare. We're going bare bones on that team. I don't think Mitch plays. I don't think Cat plays. I don't think Josh Hart plays.
I don't think
they
any of
play.
them play. I think Diawara gets some minutes. What?
It's a back-to-back too.
Yeah, it's a back-to-back, and we have a whole bunch of guys that have come out as questionable. I think that's because Mike Brown is a genius and isn't going to play those guys. We just won the cup. There's no reason for us to go up against the Pacers, who I think have 3 or 4 wins so far this season. And even they have guys that are injured. Obi Toppin's out. Neesmith is out, so it's like, why would we even play if their players aren't playing? Just wouldn't make sense. So I think we get that W tomorrow. And then we go straight into Philadelphia. I feel like that's a W as well. And then the next game that I think will be competitive will be Sunday night versus the Miami Heat. Hopefully we get with the same momentum. What?
No, Philly.
The Philly game in New York, right?
The Philly game's in New York. Yep.
That game's going to be crazy. The Knicks are going to be back home. They're going to get a hero's welcome from the crowd. That's going to be awesome.
Yeah, and then they're also home versus Miami. So be 2 good games at home.
Big games.
Yep. And then off to Minnesota. So all those before we meet up again next Friday. So for those of y'all that are watching, it's Christmas next Thursday. We ain't on the show next Thursday. We're going to be with our families, but we will
I'll be in New York.
You'll be in New York. That's fire.
Going to the game.
I'll be in DC. And so we will be doing the show that Friday with a brand called Oakley Spirits. Todd from Baxis will be joining us again because he is the one that connected me with Oakley. And this is really cool. I'm trying to get some females on the chat because this is a brand that was actually created for empowerment of women in the whiskey community. And they are doing big things and showing that, this is not just a man's world. And I feel like that's like Miss Nixis showed earlier, and Ebony continues to show this Knicks space is not just a man's world. So shout out to the ladies of Knicks Twitter, Knicks Instagram, Knicks Facebook, all that stuff. But I'm looking forward to it. Swanee, let everybody know where they can find you, my guy.
Hey man, I'm on X. Really, I got Instagram, but I don't really use it like that. It's more for my school and my coaching and stuff. So I leave that to the side. But yeah, on X, man, on Twitter X at Swanee Boy. That's my name right there. I talk a lot of ish. So you know what I mean. I like to troll people and stuff. So don't mind me. I'm just having a good time.
Yeah, everybody hits Swanee up in his DMs and tell him to stop coaching so he can be on the show more often. we tried to recruit him earlier this season. He's like, bro, I'm too popular for you, bro. I'm too popular. I said, all right, bro, I get it. He said, what are you gonna pay me? I said, I'm broke, bro. I'm broke. And he said, no, I'm
broke, man. I'm free the next few weeks, so I'll be
All
here.
All right. Y'all heard that, all right? If he doesn't, blow up his chat for that, all right?
Unless
Al,
I'm at a game or something.
he said, I'm available the next few weeks unless I have something more important than you to do. We're right back to the drawing board. All right. Like you saw right there in the chat, youtube.com/@NickLifeCrisis. And that's also his Instagram, semi-auto155. Like I said, support new content creators. These guys are doing good work. Shout out to them. It's just going to get better and better. I know that for a fact. I love watching. We actually connected at a watch party. We had been, connected through social media, but actually like being in person and being like, yo, this guy's actually worth continuing to build with. You never know what you're going to get on the other side of the internet. So this one's a real one. So support Al.
My guy.
All right, Apollo, before we wrap, what was your favorite pour of the night? Hold it up.
Favorite pour of the night.
I'm interested in this.
I'm going to be honest. Sir Joe with his little remarks about me and honey. I actually am gonna go with the weeded bourbon. I'm gonna
really
go
all right.
Wow,
weeded bourbon. I actually like it's a little bit more maybe too much weeded bourbon. It's actually a smoother taste that I actually thought it was gonna be being a weeded bourbon. I do like the Ryconic, but I'm tilting a little bit more towards the weeded bourbon for sure.
All right. I love that. All 3 of them to me are heavy hitters. Shout out to Kara and the team at King's Family Distilling for being part of it. We appreciate you guys and can't wait till you can actually be on an episode with us in the playoffs. Her son is actually a Pacer fan, which is why we booked the episode today, because his little young NBA fan self was going to come up and we were going to trash talk her son and convince him how trash the Pacers are. So we'll have to do that a little later in the playoffs, and we can rub it in his face that they didn't even make it to the play-in tournament. But I put the link to their Instagram in the chat. Please pick up a bottle if you're into whiskey. All of them were incredible. My favorite has to be this one right here. And now that I'm going up to DC, I'm going to be taking this bottle actually with me in my aged in ore case and sitting next to a fire in the cold DC weather, smoking a cigar over Christmas break. So I'm excited for it. Thank you to everybody in the chat. It's 10:35. We've gone 5 minutes past what we want to, but we appreciate all 230 plus of you that have been rocking with us all night. I appreciate you guys so much. Let's continue to build this thing. Let's continue to grow. And until next time, God bless. And like always, drink responsibly. Deuces.
This is the moment we waited for. Everything you want is right here. We gon' give them what they came for. We gon' take it up from last year. Shoot 'em my shot, boy, I'm long range. Me and the team on the same thing. Stayed down, never switched up. Only thing changed was the game. I'm in the zone now. Nothing can change what we on now. When I pull up, know it's going down. Foot on the gas, ain't no slowing down.